So ranking your local business on ChatGPT is easy, actually. Super easy, actually. So before I get into this, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Matthew Johnson. I'm the founder of Pleiades Consultancy, and I've created and scaled my own marketing agency to multiple six figures and then proceeded to serve as a CMO of an Amazon agency where we worked with some of the largest names in the e-commerce industry, such as Ridge Wallet, Hexclad, BK Beauty, The Wobbles, so on and so forth. While I was there, I actually tripled the client base from 15 to 45 active clients. And that's not including one-off deals that we signed and clients that churned as well. So the number is likely upwards of 50 plus, right? But for this specific video, I want to talk about ranking your local business on ChatGPT and what that actually entails for your business. So I just have a little bit of a screenshot here, some receipts, so you know that I'm not full of it. But one of my clients, Desert Hills Dental, since working with us, has gotten over 464 calls. You can see it here directly to their Google business profile. I'll explain why this is significant. And then another client of mine, Mr. Fresh Carpet Care, started from scratch, no Google business profile, nothing, started to achieve over 42 calls within the time period of us working together, and that continues to increase. And this also doesn't include submissions made to the website and so on and so forth, right? So now that we've gotten that out of the way, now let's talk a bit about the problem. Now, I have done these audits for well over 60 businesses, maybe even more than that at this point. I'm not really keeping track anymore. But of those 60 plus businesses I've audited, 1.2% of them just never get cited by ChatGPT ever. And in these instances, I'm not talking about just run-of-the-mill mom and pop shops. I'm talking about chains that have over 1,000 locations, right? These are your Serve Pros, your Paul Davis, your Roto, your 1 Hour, that's an HVAC service. These are all multiple huge companies that have hundreds, even some of them even have thousands of locations, and they're not even showing up in ChatGPT despite their massive marketing budgets for their franchisees and even their main companies, right? Their main locations. So it's not necessarily a small business problem. It's an everyone problem. And while there are different types of strategies that you can have for different types of businesses, so you'll have different strategies for SaaS, different for e-commerce, different for agencies, and then of course different for local businesses. For the sake of this video, I am focusing expressly on local businesses because that's who I work with. This is a huge problem, right? Because there are more and more people that are using ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, the entire AI models in order to find businesses, in order to find, restaurants near them, or they have a leak and they need a plumber. And let's say they trust ChatGPT more than Google, right? Which is quickly becoming the case. Millions, hundreds of millions of people use ChatGPT on a weekly basis just to do their day-to-day searches. So it's imperative, especially for those local businesses that might not be as big as those franchises that I mentioned prior, for you to be showing up within your specific service area, about 10 to 15 miles away from your location in ChatGPT and these other platforms. Because just by doing this, you're going to be able to sign, it depends on the niche, but for example, for my dental client, they're able to add upwards of 10, 15 NPs just purely on autopilot through ChatGPT, through Google, which go hand in hand, right? So very important. So it's not necessarily a switch, right? It's not a light switch. Picture a light switch. If I wanted to turn on the light and illuminate the entire house, I could just flip the switch on. And if I wanted to turn it off and return to darkness, I would just flip it back off, right? It's not like that. The job or what you're aiming for is consistency and a continuous raising of your share. So picture this, there's 0% of companies that are just never named, right? Or there's a percentage of companies that are just never named. And then they're named 4 times in 10. And then eventually they're named 100% of the time. Because ChatGPT works based on algorithms, just like any model or any search engine in the world, right? It goes based off of algorithms. But the way that it works is unlike Google, where it shows page 1, page 2, page 3, so on and so forth. ChatGPT always defaults to about 1 to 10 names or businesses. So if I were to type in right now, best immigration attorney in Oak Brook, Illinois, it's going to show me about 5 to 10 companies unless I tell it to do otherwise. But if I just go with that broad search, it's going to give you about 5, maybe 10, right? And then there's a percentage of chance for you to be named based off of these factors I'm going to talk about subsequently. So most people get named 0% of the time. That is, if I were to prompt ChatGPT 10 times, you don't show up 10 times out of 10. It's percentage based, right? And then once you implement some of these strategies I'm going to talk about, you start to get named, let's say, 4 times out of 10. That's 40% of the time. And then as time goes on, gradually you continue implementing these strategies. You only get better, you get more reviews, you get more third-party reviews, so on and so forth. You then get named 10 times out of 10. And that's where everybody wants to be, right? But what people don't understand is the factors that actually get them to be named any at all. And it's not necessarily what you think it is either. So where the answer comes from is it's a plethora of things. But think of it like this. ChatGPT and these other AI platforms are weighing their options. They're looking at their trusted data aggregator sites and they're saying like, okay, how can I find proof that this business is one that I should name? How can I validate my current findings? Okay, well, Google is a very trusted source, right? Everybody knows Google and their algorithms are some of the best in the world. So I'm going to use Google as one of my sources. Okay, he's on Google. He's getting reviews. He or she's getting reviews. They're posting consistently. Their name is congruent to what I'm used to. Okay, they're the same business. Okay. Google says they're fine. What does Microsoft say about them? Because Microsoft is just as credible. Maybe not as many people use them as Google, but they're credible. Okay, they're not on Microsoft. Fine. Okay, that's a bit suspicious. That's a bit fishy. I don't know if I want to, continue with this. Okay. Let's try another one of my sites. Let's try Foursquare. Let's try Yelp. Okay. Doesn't seem like they're on Foursquare or Yelp either. But this other business, even though they don't have as many reviews and they haven't been in business as long, they're showing up on Bing. They're showing up on Foursquare. They have a Yelp account. They have an Angie account. They're a dentist. They have a ZocDoc account or a HealthGrades account. I'm more inclined to trust this business. So let me put them above this one, just because I can't validate whether this business is one that, is actually trustworthy. I can't validate it. And this is how you need to think of it. So it's not just, I need more blog posts. I'm going crazy. It's really just a matter of, one, a major part is fixing your listings, or what we like to call them citations. So you need to ensure that you're on all of these sites, all of these third-party sites, these aggregators, and that your name, address, phone number, NAP is consistent across all of them as well. Because the worst case is, let's say you're only on Google, you have been in business for 20, 30 years, and I've seen this, and the business that's been there for, let's say, 5 years, maybe even less, is outranking you just because they've managed to, find their listings, find their industry-specific citations, and eventually found, their rankings or were eventually able to bring their rankings up that way. That's how you need to think of it. Your blog plays a role, but it's not as significant as you think. So going back to what I was saying earlier, there are 4 things that really matter in relation to your citations or on ranking on AI. And a major one is your Google business profile, 100%. So if you go here, you can see 32%, 10 to 15%, 70%, right? In actuality, the Google business profile, I would say, accounts for about 70 to 80% of how you rank, not only on, of course, Google, which is still very relevant, but also on ChatGPT and these other AI platforms. Just because Google is still the most proficient and the most efficient search engine platform that there is, or search engine that there is. So what you need to do with your Google business profile, and this is something that you can just do right now, is one, your category. Make sure that your primary category matches exactly what it is that you're trying to rank for and what it is that you're doing. If you're a carpet cleaning company, like my client, Mr. Fresh Carpet Care, you need to make sure that your primary category is carpet cleaning service. Otherwise, you're going to run into issues because there's going to be a mismatch between what exactly it is that you're offering and what your primary category denotes. Next is reviews. Reviews play, I would say, upwards of 50% of your actual ranking factor. So you don't want to have a profile that has, let's say, 770 plus reviews, but it has a 4.5, 4.4, 4.3 star rating, because you're going to get outranked by a review or a profile that has 20, 30 reviews, but has a 4.9 rating, right? And another thing that people typically get confused on is, oh, I have 770 reviews, but this particular profile is outranking me, or this business is outranking me. Google looks at the reviews within about a 1 to 3 month period. So it looks at recency and not necessarily the aggregate number. It does play a role, don't get me wrong, because it affects your star rating. But if your review velocity, which means the amount of reviews you get within about a 1 to 3 month period, as I mentioned prior, is, let's say I get 1 review a day for my business versus this other business that has over 1,000 reviews that gets 1 review every 2 months. I'm going to outrank that business just because of velocity and recency, right? And then, of course, 5-star rating or my star rating. So incredibly important. Photos are another huge one. I saw this up to yesterday when I was talking to a commercial cleaning company. They're using stock photos on their website and on their Google business profile. Google knows that they're stock photos, trust me, because it can read the metadata. And through these stock photos, you're actually hurting your rankings, right? You're hurting your reputation because Google sees them as fake, and Google doesn't want to show their customers fake photos or fake businesses, because that's going to harm their reputation and, of course, their retention on their customers. So if you're an electrician, go and take a picture of the, before and after. Before it was this, after it was this. Same for carpet cleaning. If you're an attorney, feel free to take a photo with your clients as soon as you have a successful case, right? Or take a look or take a photo of the deliberation between you and your client. Or if you're a carpet cleaning company, same thing, do before and afters. So you go in, the carpet was, dirty, there are urine stains from pets, so on and so forth. Take a before, do an after as well. Take those photos, juxtapose them, and then post them onto your Google business profile. Because that's going to be the difference between a profile with stock photos versus profile with real photos and a profile that's posting consistently. You want to do this, which is posting photos at least twice a week. It sends signals to Google that you're open and that you're a business that's ready to take on new clients 100% of the time, which is, again, a ranking factor between a company that posts no photos or do no GBP posts and ones that do. Because Google is going to view those that don't do these posts as being an inactive business, and it won't want to send customers to inactive businesses, right? And then on your website, we'll talk about this a bit more, but you have your schema markup, which most websites have none of this. Most websites are woefully under-optimized, but that's an entirely different video, right? Right. Okay. So let's go to the next thing. So the setting that nobody checks. So there's something that many people don't understand about how you choose or how you show up in the first place. Because there are many people that want to rank nationally, which isn't impossible, but it's significantly orders of magnitude by probably 1,000 times more difficult than just ranking within your specific city. So again, I'll use my carpet cleaning company client within California as an example. He is in the Fairfield area. Let's say that he wanted to rank within, Suisun, for example. it's going to be harder for him to do that because he's in the Fairfield area, which is outside of a 10 to 15 mile radius. Don't quote me on that. I'm not from California. And I haven't taken a look at that in a bit. But let's say that it's outside. Let's say it's 4 to 5 miles away. Let's say his office or his base of operations within Fairfield is about 4 to 5 miles away from Suisun. If he sets his location as being within a 45 mile or within Suisun, despite him being in Fairfield, what's going to happen is Google is never going to recommend you. Because think of it from the perspective of a customer. If I, as a customer, live in Suisun and your company is 45 miles away to do carpet cleaning, why wouldn't I just go with the company that's 5 miles away from me instead? Like, what's the point of showing me a company that's 45 miles away? I'm not going to wait for maybe an hour while the company, which will take the company to get there. I'm not going to wait that long just because this company, no matter how good the reviews are, no matter how good their track record is, if I can get another company that has a slightly not as good, I'm blanking right now, slightly not as good reputation or track record to get it done for me, despite it, being the same job, but they're 5 miles away, there's no way I'm going to go with the company that's 45 miles away, right? So I can even tell you another story of a pest control company that is in Phoenix. They're based in Phoenix, but they're about, let's say, 30 to 45 miles away from the city of Phoenix itself, but they'd still be categorized within, Phoenix. They had 0 service areas, 0 locations that were, near to Phoenix, right? So if there was somebody that was in Phoenix that wanted pest control done, they're going to go with the person that's closer to them, that's 5 to 10 miles closer to them or within their radius. So one of the first things I like to do when I start working with a client is to set these locations within their Google Business Profile and on their websites so that they're real areas within a 15-mile radius, about 5 to 10 of them, and it will make it significantly easier for Google and AI to triangulate where exactly they need to show our profile to and what type of customers they need to show the profile to. So let's say that pest control company is about 10 miles away from Mesa, Arizona. When we set that location on their website and on their Google Business Profile, we now know that anytime somebody within the Mesa area asks for pest control company near me, we're going to be one of the companies that shows up, provided that we've done all the other steps correctly. So again, this is a major point of friction between rankings of where you want to be and what type of jobs you're getting and ones that are outside of your service area. Moving on. So the 4 things that I would do immediately is 1, open your Google Business Profile and check the primary category. This is probably going to move the needle the most if it isn't already selected correctly. If you're a restoration company that specializes in water damage restoration, make sure that your primary category is water damage restoration. If you're a carpet cleaning company, it's carpet cleaning service. If you're a dentist, it's dentist within certain area, right? If you're a cosmetic dentist, it's cosmetic dentist. If you're a family dentist, it's family dentist. If you're a personal injury attorney, it's personal injury attorney, right? Make sure that these are all congruent. If you're a tax consultant, it's tax consulting. If you're a CPA, then it's, CPA, right? It's abbreviated, but you get the point. You need to make sure that these are congruent. Next up is your service areas. If you're in the Phoenix area, then, Tampa, Mesa. If you're in Phoenix, then you can put Phoenix, so on and so forth, right? You want to also make sure that the cities that you select are, yes, within 10 to 15 miles of your office, but also that they're highly populated cities, preferably. So you don't want to just put an area there that doesn't have a huge populace and that's in the middle of nowhere. No, you want to select an area or a city that has a large population. Do not exceed 10 service areas or locations within your Google Business Profile. This is for GBP specifically. Do not exceed 10. keep it between about 5 and 10. Right now as well, go and claim your Foursquare listing. It's free. If it asks you to pay, that's just to speed process up. It's free, right? It's free. Trust me. And Bing Places as well, if you already have a Google Business Profile, you can just import your Google Business Profile to your Bing Places. These cost absolutely nothing, right? So it takes less than an hour. Realistically, you can do this right now. Watch the rest of the video first though. And by the way, if you want me to just do this for you, manage your Google Business Profile, optimize your website, and make sure that you're ranking on ChatGPT and that it sends you at least one customer a month within 90 days, then feel free to check out my link below and book in a time with me personally. Or if you'd like to get the full guide on how exactly I do this, as well as this board, it's in the link below. You can grab my 7 free trainings. But anyway, let's continue. So it really only runs in one direction, right? You can do all of these things optimized for old Google and old SEO, and you won't necessarily rank on AI, on stuff like ChatGPT. But if you optimize for AI, you will rise on Google as well. So you optimize for AI and you will also experience very high Google listings. And what I mean by that is map pack, right? Top 3 in the map pack, which is where about 80% of business goes. So if you're not top 3 in the map pack, then you're missing out on potentially hundreds of calls, right? So make sure that, let's say you're working with an SEO person now, just ask them, where do I rank when a customer asks ChatGPT who to call? I have a client in Oak Brook, Illinois, immigration law attorneys, Godoy Law Office. You can search them up right now in ChatGPT. Who is the best immigration law attorney in Oak Brook, Illinois? And they will show up 100% of the time at top 1. Just to, again, validate my claims on this. So lastly, just to go over everything that we've already spoken about, you need to fix your Google Business Profile first. Make sure that your primary category, your service areas, your photos, and your NAP are consistent. You need to make sure that you get on these listings, which are Foursquare, Microsoft, this Bing Places for business, and then as well Apple Business Connect. I didn't talk about this on much. I'm going to talk about it more in another video. But yeah, you can all do this within less than an hour and it takes nothing. It's free. Please do it, right? It's 2 things that you need to do right now and you'll already significantly increase your chances of ranking on AI. And to this end, remember what I showed you prior. It's going from never named to going at least 40% of the way. It's gradual, it's slow, but once you get this dialed in, it's something that will serve you for months, if not years, right? Definitely not months, it's years. And this is all something that doesn't even require ad spend, right? So it's not like I'm telling you to put in $100 a day, $150 a day, $50 a day, none of that. This is all something that really just takes a bit of your time and you can eventually just hire it out to me, of course. But yeah, if there's anything that you should do right now, do these things. I really hope this video helped you. Once again, my name is Matthew Johnson. I can do this for you, getting you ranked on ChatGPT and other forms of AI so that you can increase your business purely passively, so that you can focus expressly on your craft. Yeah, so like, subscribe, share, do all of those nice things, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.